Welcome to Hannah's Heart.
So Hannah, she's just one of the women who did struggle with infertility in the Bible.
No matter who we are, we can be inspired by the fact that Hannah took her pain to God, and God heard her and was with her.
So when she was praying at the temple, she had been weeping and not eating, and her lips were moving, but her eyes were closed, and the priest was like, "Hey, why are you drunk at the temple?"
It can become an obsession when you want a child so deeply.
And desiring that baby and to be a mama. Every holiday, every Mother's Day.
This is not a show that's going to promise you a certain outcome, but this is a show that says, however God answers your cry, we know that He's enough.
Hey, I'm Ann.
And I'm Kendra, and you're listening to Hannah's Heart on American Family Radio. We are a radio show podcast that started for couples struggling with infertility and miscarriage, because that was and is our story. And we've gone on to talk about fostering, adoption, and just when your life looks differently than you planned, how you trust God in the middle of the process. So
that's right. That's why we're here. We hope that we can encourage you along the journey, or if you're here even listening for a friend or a family member, we hope that we can encourage you along the way too with that. We have some special guests. If you're not watching, we have some special guests joining us in studio.
Much anticipated and requested guests.
Yeah, they have been requested a few times.
Yes, they are our husbands.
They're our husbands. You want to introduce yours first?
I will. Eric Knox is over here. And if anybody here is on the radio, sometimes I go by my name, Kendra White, which was before him. And so, I am married.
Famous before you got married.
I have two last names on the radio, so I am Kendra Knox. But yes, he Ann teased me right before. She was like, last time you came on, you were like, this is my wonderful, awesome husband. And I just introduced mine as like, this is Will. So now I'm trying to tone down the awesomeness. He's okay sometimes.
He can still be that awesome.
He's still awesome. But this is Eric.
If you go back and listen to their first story, you'll understand what I mean and of how awesome.
And in case they're listening and not watching, why don't you talk so they can hear your voice?
Yeah, my name's Eric.
Eric Knox. I let him talk every once in a while at home.
We're glad to have you, Eric.
Thank you. Appreciate it. I'm glad to be here.
We've talked about this episode for a long time now.
Yeah.
And I have my hubby, Will Cockrell, who's all things wonderful.
How's it going?
And why are we so awkward all of a sudden? It's because our husbands are joining.
What do we do?
They're normally not with us.
It's like when someone's watching you type.
It is.
Yes.
It's like
You
bring
all of
your
a sudden
husband
don't
to
know how to
work day
type.
or
Yeah.
something. I don't know.
That's how it is around here, though.
But there's a reason that we brought them in specifically for today's episode, and that is Father's Day.
Father's Day.
Dun, dun, dun.
We didn't plan that.
Okay. So we have a lot of special Mother's Day episodes every year, and that's because Mother's Day, if you are struggling with infertility or child loss, is one of the hardest days of the year. But I did not anticipate for me how hard Father's Day was going to be. I remember like going to church and being prepared on Mother's Day, and like emotionally my walls were up. But on a Father's Day I went and I had to leave the service and go in another room because I just had so many expectations for wanting to see my husband be a dad and just feeling it for you, the empathy. And so, yeah, but nobody can talk about it better than somebody who has actually lived it. So we want.
I feel like you took that Father's Day harder than I did.
I did.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's true.
I think I would say the same for Will for the most part. I think he's always been good at being like, it's a day, like.
Yeah.
And then we had Emily Brooks on our last Mother's Day episode last year, and she made a wonderful point of like, girls, it is just a man-made holiday.
Yeah,
like this
sure.
is nothing in Scripture.
Yeah.
And she was like, so Mother's Day didn't exactly bother me that much. Like it's a Sunday. And so I was like, you're so right. Like I wasted so many
You
years
can still
like,
glorify the Lord and honor
Yes,
Him and
yeah.
find joy, even though it can be hard at times.
Yes, but when all the other mothers or all the people that are fathers are getting celebrated and being asked to stand up in church and baby dedications going on possibly, it's hard and like salt on the wound whenever I struggled with guilt because our infertility was, quote unquote, my fault. And so it was like, he would be a daddy if he would have married someone else. I don't know if this is going to happen. So anyway.
But a lot of the women that are listening, they want to understand a guy's perspective of the issues that we talk about regularly. And they're like, please help me understand my husband. So let's thank you guys for coming on today.
Yeah.
And we asked our listeners if they had any questions that they wanted to ask you. And we had a couple of really good ones. So we're going to sprinkle those in with a couple of our own questions today. And we'll just jump in and get started. So Anything look good to you, Ann? To
We can
throw
start
'em off
wherever.
first? All right.
So first off, Eric, you mentioned that Father's Day wasn't as hard for you as Kendra, at least that one time.
Yeah,
Did you still feel like that throughout other years?
I think so. Yeah, like, I mean, not to say that it wasn't hard at all, but like the first one where we started trying, and it's hard for me to recall exactly. Had we had a miscarriage by the time that first Father's Day came around?
I think the first one, no. I think it was we had just started all of our fertility.
Yeah, so I mean, I felt like I felt like that first one. It was like it's not here, but like it's going to happen, and so I felt like you can have the tendency to like your mind runs all the way down this worst case scenario, and you felt all these emotions as though we had tried everything and we're never having children, and you're processing that on that Father's Day, and I'm like, it's going to happen. Don't worry about it. Like, yeah.
Well, and I know all guys are different, but I feel too like most women like me, we want children. If we said like, how much do I want? It's like a 10 out of 10. And like for you, like it was like, you know, like I want children, but I'm like a 3 on the scale. Like not that you didn't want them.
Yeah, no,
but
like,
you
I
didn't
definitely-
experience it as intensely.
Yeah, I definitely wanted kids, but if God had come down and said, "Hey, Eric, you're just never going to have kids, man. Just go ahead and wrap your head around it," I'd be like, "Man, that's rough. Let me process that. Give me like 3 days to wrap my head around it, and I just move on."
And not all guys are like that. Some guys have an
Yeah,
intense
that's true.
desire as
It's
well.
true.
We have a
That's true,
friend
yeah.
that falls
You
into
feel
that
like
category.
you would feel the same way?
Yeah, no, I'd probably be a little different.
Yeah.
I think, it would definitely take some more time. And
Well,
I
and you
think-
grew up with a lot of kids, and like part of y'all's relationship.
I was gonna say,
kids,
yeah. I
right?
mean, with the fact that me and Ann were together so long, we babysit kids
We
together.
babysit.
you know,
That was our
and
date
so
night on Friday nights. We would
Really?
babysit. Oh, yeah.
you
Was
get
it
to-
really? Who'd you
People,
babysit?
if you asked our little group of people that we
Yeah.
babysat for, they'd be like, "Oh yeah, we got a 2-for-1." I mean, like, because everyone
Okay.
loved Mr. Will,
Aw.
and I was just there to provide snacks and change
gotcha.
diapers.
Okay.
So that's what it was.
So then you start dreaming. You know, like, okay, this is gonna be us one day. And so then when that's not reality, when you are wanting it to be, that's different. But
See, I was already kind of reticent. Thank
There
you.
you go. Thank you, Mr.
I was
Producer.
already reticent about having kids to begin with, just because I was like,
yeah.
I don't know exactly what this is going to look like for me being in a wheelchair. I don't know. Like I have, I'm cool with being around kids for like 20, 30 minutes. And then I'm like, all right, that was fun. I'm out. See you guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I like understood like there's no getting out of this when
Right.
it starts. And so I was just like, gosh, I don't even know. I don't really know what this is going to look like. Like I would never,
Which I totally understand that.
if I was dating some girl who was babysitting kids, I'd be like, have fun. I'm going to go hang out with guys.
Yeah.
Well, and I had to accept that just because he didn't experience the desire as strongly as I didn't mean that he didn't have the desire and
Yeah.
still wasn't processing grief
Right.
in his own way. And that was a lot of times I kind of felt like, do you even care about this? Like.
So you mentioned you were like, okay, did that happen before or after the first miscarriage? So we had someone ask a question kind of with that. They asked NICU or miscarriage experiences. That's what this is with. How long has it taken you to process any trauma you experienced, or are you still dealing with any of that? And do y'all have any like resources or something that might have helped you? Either, y'all have experienced a few miscarriages. We've experienced miscarriages and then the loss of John Micah. Did that affect Father's Day differently?
Go ahead, Will.
Yeah, Will, I think you need to take this one.
Yeah, I mean, it's wow. I think it comes to, I think there's probably not a birthday or a Father's Day that goes by that you don't still have that with you. And I think that's okay. I think me and Ann talk all the time. I mean, I guess everybody processes trauma and grief differently, but I think it sure helps us, and it makes all the miscarriages and loss more real. For us, we feel like when we talk about it, if you ignore it, it makes it not
Right.
all feel as real.
Well, and so after losing John Micah, you talked about because for Will, he was by himself when he found out John Micah had passed away. and I don't know if you've shared necessarily publicly, but you like, I wasn't with you, but you picked up a chair or something and threw it or something in the hospital.
There was a chair beside me, and there was doctors and everything, and yeah, I was.
And if you know Will, that's not Will at all. Not Will.
The immediate response, was I couldn't even understand that she was saying what she was saying, and then I'm processing it, and then there was
Did you throw a chair?
I hit a chair. I hit a chair.
Oh, you hit a chair.
Yeah.
Does it make sense to you guys to feel that level of rage, or are y'all just sad at that moment? Because we process like that makes total sense to me. Like, punch a hole in the wall in that moment. It makes total sense. Does that make sense to y'all?
That would not even be on my radar. Like, I'd be experiencing deep emotions, but the thought of breaking something, hitting something, never crossed my mind.
I don't think.
I feel like the way y'all expel negative emotions, maybe through tears with guys, we need to punch something.
Probably more physical. Yeah.
Well, and I know he was ready to like get to the back with me, but they're asking how you've handled trauma. So what would you say has been dealing with that?
I mean, honestly, again, back to as much as it hurts, it's kind of fun for me to think back to the day. Anytime that whatever happens causes me to think back to that day, I'll do it, and I don't like push those thoughts away. I don't, I just take them, because honestly, it's the only time that I got to hold my son, and so I mean, I don't push them away. The miscarriages are a little different because that was more you experiencing that, not me, and so those are more like, I'm just kind of leaning on you for just whatever you're needing.
Being there for me.
Being there for you. Yeah, being there for you.
Y'all didn't do IVF or anything, did you? Okay.
No, we had gotten to the point, though, that we were told, this is like your last doctor's appointment. My doctor basically released me, and he was like, you need to go. He was going to send us to a place in Dallas, and we were like, we had already said we weren't going to do IVF, but we did take paperwork home, and I think I made a phone call or two, and then we were like, we just didn't feel like the Lord was leading us to that, because he was like, we've done everything that we know to do for that. And Will, he had already come to the conclusion of like, I think we need to be done, with the medical things, and I just hadn't necessarily gotten there yet. It was like, okay, just one more step, just one more step. But so still talking about trauma has still helped you, and I think a lot of that, Eric, I don't know if you would agree, but guys, it seems like in our generation and the generation before us, boys were taught like, you don't cry, like
suck it up.
Like, you're a man, you need to be a man, you need to be tough. But like in those instances,
I cry my eyes out.
Yeah, I was gonna say, is tough necessarily a thing?
No, I mean, all right. So like in the moment, because we did IVF, so we knew there's this moment that it's building up to, this pregnancy test that you're going to take. And our first time around, I mean, our kids were barely a blip on the radar. We never saw I never saw their faces. We never gave them names. And so they had personhood, but we never saw them. Right. So it made it a lot easier. And I think rather than processing grief as we lost a child, I think it was more of like, this process didn't work. And it's hard. It's hard to wrap your mind around, like, there's these two little lives that came like in and out in a very short amount of time.
Right.
And so I guess because I never met them, I never, I don't have a face to like look back on in my mind. And then the second time around, it was kind of the same thing.
Where we had two embryos transferred and only one that continued developing.
Yeah. And so but it still felt like we won. You know what I mean? Like it was like, we're pregnant, but then there's only one kid. And for me, it felt like the pregnancy overlapped the loss of that embryo, and again, I never met them. I didn't they never had a name. I never saw their face.
And just throwing this in there for anybody who's just listening, because we are incredibly pro-life at Hannah's
Yes.
Heart. And IVF,
Yes.
we talk about this a lot in other episodes, but we felt called to do a version of IVF that only created as many embryos as we could safely transfer in one cycle, because we were hoping that anything that we created would become a part of our family, and there's nothing left in the freezer.
We had dedicated. I mean, they said at most you're probably going to get 3 embryos. On a at a wild card it would be 5 embryos, and we just said if we have 5 embryos, we're gonna maybe we'll have 5 kids. It just is what it is. We'll just keep coming back for them, but we're not leaving them in a freezer.
Yeah.
Right.
But I do remember that first time that, we had 2 transferred and got that positive pregnancy test, and then found out that we'd miscarried, and you just boohooed. And I think it hit you harder initially.
Yeah, it hit me hard right off the bat.
Like it hit me hard, but then it was like, I feel like after a couple days you were doing a lot better. And
probably 48 hours I was like back to neutral.
Yeah. And it's different, I think, for every guy. Like, I think I'm the one who still is remembering some of those seasons and dates and still keeps always going back because my body experienced that.
Yeah.
And that is, and some guys do experience it the same as their wives, but I've had to give you space to just, it's okay that you grieve different than I grieve that.
Yeah, for sure. I just think that it has to be a thing whenever it's not their bodies experiencing what's going on. It's okay that they can't acknowledge, it's okay that we're all different,
One of the traumas I do want to mention, just of fertility treatments in general, I know it's not the same as losing a child, but there is a lot of trauma that goes into the process of IVF that doesn't always get talked about. There is a emotional turmoil. You can describe how awful that, the stimulation phase, all the shots, it's just a lot of stress. It's a lot of ups and downs. And if you then have a loss, you now have tons of money that your family has scrimped and saved and, been eating beans for weeks. And so you have that, not that it's all about money, but, you have,
it's a factor.
It's a lot of different kind of trauma.
Then stress on marriage too. When you're already spending that much money.
Yeah. And it's a blow to your spirit, it's a blow to your emotion, it's a blow to your pocketbook. It's all the way around. It's just a kick, man.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of marriages, how has your infertility and child loss journey impacted your all's marriage? Anything you want to share about that?
Oh man, it's hard to sum that up.
Yeah.
But in all the good ways, honestly, and I'm thankful to be able to say that. I think from the beginning back to even with the miscarriages and then losing John Micah. Me and Ann just chose to talk through it, just through every stage, and I'm grateful that we did. And it's strangely, I think the way I always say it is, it's weird that things like that actually strengthen you, but God's word tells us that is how it works,
Are there any
testing?
I want to say you can definitely see where roots of bitterness could get sowed
Sure.
through this whole marriage. Yeah, through the marriage, through the whole process. And I think you either choose it's either going to make us stronger or it's going to tear us apart.
Yeah,
You don't-
totally agree. I don't think there's a middle ground.
Yeah,
No.
you got to choose one way or the other, for sure.
Are there any standout moments that come into your mind where you saw God's strength moving through Anne, where you're like, man, I'm proud of how she tapped into him in that moment?
Well, I'm proud of her all the time.
Oh, thanks.
Think she's the best, but I can picture her holding John Micah, and I feared, just because I knew how much she loved being a mom, how much she wanted to have kids, all the things. I feared, that maybe something like that would break her. But I could see, and I watched her, lean on God, and allow him to comfort her, even when she probably didn't even want to be comforted or even feel, she'd tell you she was mad at God, but I think she was honest with herself and him about that.
I think there's still days when you hear awful stories of ungodly events happening to babies. And it's like, I wasn't going to do that. I was going to, teach him to love you, Lord. And, we were going to bring him up as a man that, but I have to get comfort in knowing that I think John Micah has already made a big voice for himself in his tiny little life. And of course, that's God.
Yeah.
But he's possibly impacting more people through his death than, he would have possibly if the Lord would have healed him, or at least kept him safe. And so for that, I'm grateful. And yeah, I mean, even thinking about watching Will, being proud of him, allowing himself to love John Micah and his story. Not that if he wouldn't love John Micah, but like, as a man, I feel like he could have been like just ticked off. Like he took my son. Mark is our son. He's not our biological son. That doesn't make him any less of a son, but he took his biological son and, like, why did this have to happen? And, but he didn't do that. There have been times he has been mad and, all of a sudden it's just like, I don't know where this grief just came from, but it just showed. But him definitely letting the Lord, carry him through that and just being honest through those times of weakness. But that the Lord can, if you let him and allow him, he can make you strong through that.
Well, I had a question for you on fatherhood. How has infertility and our loss impacted the way that you parent? Has there been any, like, anything that you think, maybe I do this different, or have you having children a little bit different?
I don't think so, honestly. I mean, I feel like I had, like before the outset, I had kind of a vision in mind where people, like I had a vision in mind beforehand, and the loss, our losses did impact that vision. And my vision is like, you hear people all the time, they complain about like, well, kids these days, man, they don't make them like they used to. And then, all right, so people, golly, boy, I see people flinch around my fatherhood all the time because if I'm going to create a kid that, they don't make them like they used to anymore, like one thing, all right, was in a parking lot and Elle's running along and she trips as she does 15 times a day and hits the ground and starts screaming. And I mean, people, like 5 different people start, oh my, like big eyes.
Everything's a 10 for our daughter, just so you know.
I yell at her, I said, you bleeding? No. Get up. Let's go. And I mean, like I was expecting like someone from Child Protective Services
to jump out and grab
them. People were just, and I was like, hey, if you want kids different, you got to treat them differently. If you want them resilient. And I just remember like that would be one of those things that my dad used to say to me back in the day, like, hey, are you bleeding? Like, no, I'm not bleeding. You don't have a reason to cry. Get up. Let's go. Okay. And like I want to grow tough kids. And like I had that in my mind before we ever, like, from the outset. And it's just, it would be easy to go like, man, I want to change that, and I want to be like a little softer and coddle because of what, we've had these losses, and now I just want to kind of back off of that. I don't. Like, if anything,
if you carry them around on a pillow because you struggled with infertility, you will ruin them. Yeah. If you try to protect them from everything.
Yeah. And our eldest, she feeds into being coddled. Yeah. She loves being coddled. And I'm just like,
and there's a time and a place for it.
Yeah. Sure. That's what Kendra's for. And Kiki. and I'm just like, when that girl grows up, I want her to hear my voice in the back of her mind when life kicks her in the mouth. I'm not bleeding. Get up and go.
Yeah, keep going.
Yeah. I wanted to know, like, Daddy was the one that let me know I could keep going.
Yeah.
I think that's what you're meaning. Is like,
I
want
think that's the
and you're also her backbone.
Yeah.
And she knows that.
Yeah.
Okay. That Daddy told me I could keep going.
I hope she hears that voice in the background. There's this one part of me too. It's like, gosh, I hope I'm not ruining this kid. She's gonna hate me. Like, parents. She's gonna kick me off into a nursing home and be like, see what it feels like now, old man.
No, I'm not gonna have it. Well, we only
oh my goodness! Somehow we only have 2 more minutes.
Speed round.
Maybe one more question. What else we
got? Okay, girl dads. We got a question about girl dads. What are some ways God has shown you how to uniquely, which you just talked about that, uniquely love your daughter? What has God taught you through your daughter?
Oh, man.
We'll start crying over here.
Will.
Sorry.
Yeah. I am a big softy when it comes to my girls because I had a boy first, and he's the one I'm tough on, and so.
I feel like I can't answer that question because I don't have them.
Yeah.
I'm like, this is all I know.
Yeah. And so, gosh, yeah, he's the one I'm hard on, and I know that. But yeah, it's I wasn't prepared for, holding that girl for the first time and feeling like what I always say. I literally remember thinking, if anybody hurts you, I'll just kill them.
Yeah.
But you do have that. You do love them that much, though. You want to protect them that much, and it's just a blessing, man. I wasn't ready for the blessing that it would be, honestly.
Well, and you are their super. We are also Mark's superhero, but like the girls, like it's like a grand entrance whenever Will gets home from work.
I love it.
It is.
Anyway, well, it was fun having
Too
you
bad,
guys
too
on
bad.
again.
And listen, if you guys are listening and you're not yet a father, just know God is your father. He loves you. He sees you right where you are. And they were there one day. And maybe your miracle's around the corner and you just need to keep pressing in and trusting God and holding on to him in this season.
Yeah, that's so good. Well,
Happy Father's Day, guys.
Happy
Yeah.
Father's
for
Day.
being awesome
Happy
Father's
Father's
Day.
Day. Thank you.
you guys will see you back next week on Hannah's Heart.